The film begins with a man named Toorop waking up from a deep slumber, horrified by a terrifying dream about what would happen in 6 days. He used to be a soldier and is now a smuggler in Eastern Europe. He's very skilled at wielding weapons and fighting without them. He is also well knowledgeable about battle techniques and tactics. It's worth noting that this novel takes place in a future planet that is not too dissimilar to our own, and has had battles in many regions, including where Toorop is currently staying. Toorop returns to his old, run-down flat shortly after, carrying rabbit meat from the market. He instantly begins cooking it, producing a delicious-looking entree. He's an incredible cook, almost like a celebrity chef. Before he begins to eat, he prays. While Toorop is enjoying his wonderful supper, a gang of armed soldiers bursts into the room and points their weapons at his head. Despite the dangerous scenario, he maintains calm and is already aware of who is directing the attack. It turns out to be Carl, a terrorist who has previously caused trouble for Toorop. Toorop uses his skills to easily overcome Carl and bring him under control. After dealing with Carl, Toorop quietly pulls on his jacket and leads the troops out of the building. They lead him to a tank sitting at the side of the road. Inside, he discovers Gorsky, together with Gorsky's wife and children. Gorsky invites Toorop to be a courier and transport a young girl to New York. Toorop is initially hesitant, but when he is offered a new identity, he agrees. Getting a new identity is more important to him than money. Toorop is dumped off in a field and waits for a helicopter to pick him up. He gets into a car that hangs from the chopper. Toorop falls asleep in the automobile and wakes up on Kyrgyzstan's rough hills. A woman suddenly emerges from a monastery in the hills. She introduces herself as Sister Rebecca, Aurora's nanny. She provides Toorop 3 requirements that he must meet. Toorop soon opens the trunk to place Aurora's bag inside, as well as an old atlas sheet containing a map that appears to be Google Maps. He notes numerous destinations so they may plan their route and estimate the direction they need to take. Soon after, Aurora and Sister Rebecca approach the automobile, and Toorop welcomes them quietly. Aurora then questions Toorop about his identity, to which he responds coldly. Soon later, Toorop starts the automobile engine, and their journey begins. They traverse the desert into Kazakhstan, close the Russian border. They continue their journey on a fast train. Toorop requests that Aurora change into some clothes she had carelessly picked up at the market. From a distance, several people are secretly following them. Aurora appears perplexed as she observes a world she has never seen before, having spent her entire life in the monastery in the hills. They find it difficult to get to the train station's entrance since it is overcrowded. Toorop must then purchase tickets from a scalper. Aurora panics and flees when she is surrounded by others. Fortunately, Toorop and Sister Rebecca pursue her. While arguing, they are abruptly forced to run, jump, and dodge explosions in a parkour-style chase to catch the train. Fortunately, they make it inside the train carriage, but there are no available seats. Toorop tries to haggle with the Mongolian family to buy their seats, but they ignore him until Aurora speaks to them in their language. After a talk that reveals Aurora's deep comprehension, the train arrives at Vladivostok, Russia. They enter an evacuation area and are inspected by authorities. Toorop invites Aurora and Sister Rebecca to a battle arena, where he meets his old friend Finn and requests assistance in entering into Canada. Once an agreement is struck, Toorop quickly removes Aurora and Sister Rebecca from the arena. A group of young individuals, however, intercepts them and offers Toorop $1 million in exchange for Aurora's handover. Surrounded by the group, he is forced to fend them off, while Sister Rebecca demonstrates her kung fu abilities. Suddenly, one of the youths attempts to drag Aurora away, but a boxer in the ring saves her. He expels everybody who tries to enter and shuts the ring door. The fighter notices Aurora crying in fright, causing Toorop to enter the ring and attempt to calm her down. However, the event organizers convert the interaction into a competition. Toorop merely wins the tough struggle, but Aurora asks him to halt. As the round concludes, Sister Rebecca and one of the guys enter the arena, revealing that they were sent by Aurora's father. Aurora ignores Sister Rebecca's instructions and decides to join the gang of youths. Toorop and Sister Rebecca soon track them down, realizing that the group is a talented parkour team. Toorop, however, fires a gunshot, which interrupts the chase. Aurora decides to go with Toorop again, not wanting anyone to be wounded, and the group escapes. At the time, Aurora's emotions were running high until Sister Rebecca managed to calm her down. The following morning, they and the migrants go on a perilous voyage over the frozen sea, induced by global warming. Along the way, they halt to see a gigantic submarine emerge from the ice. The evacuees rush toward the submarine, causing a chaotic disturbance in which not everyone makes it on board. Due to time constraints, the ship's captain instructs the crew to hastily retreat into the ice, leaving behind the refugees who were unable to make it. Some troops even shot at refugees who insist on boarding the ship. Soon later, Aurora enters the spacecraft and attempts to destroy the controls, but Toorop stops her. Aurora suddenly appears to be possessed and eventually loses consciousness. Soon after, Sister Rebecca recounts her encounter with Aurora to Toorop. She had been assigned to care for Aurora since she was a baby, and everything was normal until 3 months ago, when a doctor administered drugs that altered her behavior. Toorop is surprised to find that Aurora has been able to speak 19 languages from the age of 2 and has unexpected talents with numerous tools. At the same time, Finn raises doubts with Toorop, implying that Aurora may be carrying a virus. They soon arrive in the Bering Strait, Alaska, and continue their trek on a jet ski across the freezing desert. 2 drones begin chasing them and shooting bombs. Toorop directs the drone's attention away from Aurora by attracting it to himself. Meanwhile, Finn is escorting Aurora and Sister Rebecca to the border. The merciless drones continue to chase them, firing nonstop, but Toorop fearlessly lunges at them as bullets fly. Shortly later, Aurora and Sister Rebecca rush to assist Toorop, who is injured. Aurora uses her hands to extract metal shards from Toorop's body. Finn then points a gun at them, but Toorop shoots him in self-defense because he attempted to betray them. Finally, they safely cross into Canada and spend the night there. Toorop prepares a magnificent lunch that delights Sister Rebecca. However, their happiness is short-lived when Aurora informs them that they will all perish in New York. Toorop and Aurora soon share a talk beneath the skies. He admits that he was at war and wants to return to New York. Taking Aurora with him is the only option for him to return to America. After freshening up in a motel, they fly to New York. Finally, they arrive at their destination and enter a technologically advanced home. Aurora is stunned to learn of the destruction of their monastery in Kyrgyzstan. Toorop becomes aware that there is a significant plan involving Aurora. Suddenly, Gorsky contacts Toorop and accuses him of being behind the Abbey attack. Gorsky dispatches a doctor to examine Aurora and intends to disable the GPS on Toorop's passport. Not long after, 2 groups approach Toorop's apartment, one from Neolite and the other from Gorsky. The doctor they were waiting for arrives and quickly starts examining Aurora. Toorop becomes distraught after the doctor leaves since Sister Rebecca did not tell him the truth. Aurora interrupts their disagreement by revealing that she is pregnant with twins. Soon later, Neolite's chief contacts Toorop and instructs him to place Aurora in the waiting car outside the apartment. However, Toorop has different plans. He and Sister Rebecca walk Aurora to the automobile, but rather than giving her over, they take action. Suddenly, a furious gunfight breaks out in the heart of the city. They intend to flee via the underground train, but one of Gorsky's team members launches a missile linked to the GPS on Toorop's passport. Aurora marches boldly through the gunshots flying between the 2 battling groups, as Sister Rebecca fights off the mercenaries attempting to harm them. Toorop, who survived the blast, joins Sister Rebecca in the fight before being shot and killed. Toorop presses on, safeguarding Aurora. Then, another missile is launched and Aurora, surprisingly, draws a gun and shoots Toorop, killing him instantaneously. Toorop awoke the next day at a Dr. Dark Wender-owned healing center. The doctor had successfully revived him by implanting a mechanism to replace his destroyed body parts. Then Dark Wender revealed that he had placed artificial intelligence into Aurora's brain while she was still a fetus, as ordered by the Neolites. He also revealed that Gorsky attempted to murder him, but he escaped the scheme. Shortly later, Dark Wender provided Toorop with advanced methods to extract his final memory before his death. Toorop realized that Aurora had begged him to take her home shortly before the missile detonation. Then Dark Wender pushed Toorop to locate Aurora. The next day, the Neolites' leader hunted down Toorop by visiting Dark Wender. She had already shot and killed Gorsky. Soon later, the Neolite leader met with Dark Wender and argued about Aurora, whom both considered their kid. At the time, he accused her of using religion to gain an advantage against Aurora. Following the death of Dark Wender, the Neolite group began their search for Toorop. Meanwhile, Toorop arrived at his home and successfully located Aurora. 6 months later, Aurora gave birth to twins. Shortly later, she died. It turned out that her mission was only to give birth, and her life after that was not part of the implanted software in her brain. Toorop is now the father of Aurora's 2 children. The movie concludes. So the film's message revolves around sacrifice and self-discovery. Toorop, the ex-soldier, embarks on this amazing adventure with Aurora, a girl with extraordinary abilities. He learns a lot about her and himself, but he also understands that meddling with people's lives can have serious effects.